Morning, welcome to another edition of the Free Exchange of Ideas. So, it's Wednesday. I didn't do a show on Monday or Tuesday, obviously. I didn't do a show on Monday or Tuesday because there was so much going on. I really wanted to delineate some of it, not recommend any of it. I'm sorry, not recommend some of it. Uh, Screw Gavin Newsom for the week, or at least until Friday. I find something really good. Shouldn't take much more effort, but like I said, there was so much stuff going on that I couldn't even um, find something to read or write about. So last night, actually about 3 o'clock in the morning, got up with the dogs to take them out to do their business. And I, when I got back into the house, I had woken up enough to read a little bit of my phone. Let me see if I can find this article just really quickly because I didn't prepare it the way I wanted to. This is the thing that I actually added it to my Facebook page last night. Like right as I read it, I'm like, this is just too much uh, garbage, and it's a California thing. So I couldn't find it right there, but I'll tell you what it is. California wants to put tolls on freeways, like all lanes tolls, like a turnpike or something in New Jersey. This ain't freaking New Jersey, and our freeways aren't built that way. There's no direct line of traffic that you can take once you get off the freeway to continue in the path that you want to go. Our freeways are built different than that. We don't have a lot of side streets that parallel the freeways or go in the same direction the freeways or don't take for freaking ever. As a matter of fact, proved this morning, there was two accidents on my way to work this morning. One was, you won't care because you won't know, but one was at 101 and 280. No, I'm sorry. That's where the backup began. The accident was 3 miles ahead of that. 3 miles of backup. So I worked really hard to finally get off the freeway. And by work really hard, I mean I turned my blinker on and drove for half a mile before somebody would let me in. We can be quite rude in traffic when you get in deep traffic like that. So I got off the freeway, paralleled a couple of side streets to get up above the accident, got back on the freeway and realized there was another accident 4 miles ahead of me. 4 miles ahead of me that had back traffic up all the way to the airport. So as soon as I realized that, I just hopped off the freeway, cut somebody else off because he was just driving way too damn fast for the traffic that was allowed, and went up First Street, which is a major thoroughfare, but has a lot of lights. Because of those two accidents, it cost me 15 minutes of, actually, it cost me almost half an hour of commute time. Because had that not occurred, I would have got here like at a quarter till. As it was, I got here at 10 after. And that's just not acceptable. There's got to be something that can be done. Tolls are not the way to do it because we're already being raped in California. We already have $1.12 of added tax. That's just state tax. That's on top of the federal tax, which I think is around 34 or 43 cents, something like that. I'm a little dyslexic, mostly ADHD, but that number bounces in my head. So it's either 34 or 43. Anyway, that's just the federal taxes. The state tax is almost 3 times that. If it's 34 cents, it's absolutely more than 3 times that. And they've already built toll lanes on the freeway. They're not too expensive. However, they are way more than they need to be to accomplish the task that they have in hand. And now they want to go a whole lane or all lanes freeways tolls. And they said, "Oh, it's not a definitely done thing. I mean, we want everybody to give us their opinion and stuff." You can go to my Facebook page and read my opinion and know exactly what I think of that idea. So what I'm going to do is I'm absolutely going to call into this thing. And that was the other thing is, it's not a done deal. This is a thought project, basically. It's just we're trying to decide if we can actually get this done. Oh, I'm sure you could get it done because the legislature will buy anything that'll bring more dollars into their fucking coffers. Pardon my language. Or don't. I don't care at this point. Um, but that's bullshit. Absolute bullshit. It's bad enough we're dealing with a bullet train that will never become a reality, not in the state of California. One, there's literally no reason to get on a fucking train to go to LA. It takes a day in a regular train. It takes an hour, 45 minutes, depending on which airport you go into, in a plane. 45 minutes versus a day. Now, this bullet train, who's supposed to do over 200 miles an hour, doesn't have room to do over 200 miles an hour if it's going to stop at each of the stops that they have installed, because it's not a straight shot from San Francisco to LA. It's not. And it seems stupid because there's no connection to any of the other stops until you get to LA. And there's no connection from Sacramento to San Francisco that won't get you there just as fast. The ACE trains are already there, and they're already able to make, I think, 65 or 70 miles an hour if you want to just bump them up. This bullet train has to have complete infrastructure to itself. That right there tells me it's going to cost way more money than they're telling us now, which is already way more money than when they told us in the beginning. I mean, by like a factor of 2. And when I say by a factor of 2, I mean it went from $500 million to $1.5 billion. And we haven't laid but maybe 10 miles of track. And that's in the middle of nowhere. Middle of nowhere. So what they want to do, I'm just going to lay this out for you real quickly. I know you probably don't care, but this is one of my pet peeves because it was from Jerry Brown. And then, of course, Gavin Newsom went, oh, we're bringing more money in? Yeah, we want to keep doing that. It goes from Sacramento to San Francisco. It goes from San Francisco to Merced, and then Fresno, and then Bakersfield, and then I think there's one more stop between there and Los Angeles. That's the bullet train to Los Angeles. There's not enough room, because you have to remember, it has to slow back down as well. There's not enough room for it to get up to its quoted 200 plus mile an hour speed. It just isn't room. Literally isn't room. It can get to maybe 100, but then you're making 4 stops between San Francisco and LA. It's insane. Why? Who wants to stop at Bakersfield anyway? And if Bakersfield needs a train, they already have trains that go to Los Angeles that will probably get there in about the same amount of time because they don't have the stops. On top of that, they said it would only cost like $50 for a ticket. And now that price is over $200 per ticket per day. Why? Nobody takes the bloody train because the airplanes are so much faster. And they get you to close to downtown areas. You take a taxi in. And it's $45 to go from San Francisco to LA, San Jose to LA, San Jose to San Diego. It's $47 fucking dollars on Southwest. On JetBlue. On all the cheap flyers, it's like $47. It's nothing. Certainly not $200 to spend all fucking day in a train. Sorry. Like I said, pet peeve. We'll move on. So now they want to create a toll freeway. Well, there's 3 freeways in Northern California. They just want to do this in Northern California. They don't give a fuck about Southern California. There are 3 major freeways in Northern California. There's 101, 280, and 680. 101 goes straight up the peninsula into San Francisco. 280 goes around the outside of the peninsula and then joins up at 80 at the top of the peninsula. 680 goes up the eastern route and parallels the other side of the bay and then cuts inland, goes over the Altamont Pass and up towards Sacramento. Vacaville, actually. That's the only 3 major freeways here in Northern California. There are other large freeways, but those 3 freeways get the most traffic of any freeway. Any one of those 3 freeways, I should say, gets more traffic than any of the other tributary freeways combined. Daily. So you think it's a good idea to rape us more because you mandated that we have electric vehicles, knowing for a fact electric vehicles don't take gasoline. The fuck were you thinking? Oh, and in this article, they also mentioned, and I'll find it and I'll put it in the description box below. But in this article, they also mentioned that, or they didn't mention. I'm sorry, they didn't mention that California is going to start a mileage tax, and they don't care what you're driving. It's not just for electric vehicles; it's for everybody. Outside of this job, I also am a private investigator, so I travel a lot. When I did it full time, I averaged about 35 or 40,000 miles a year. A year. I mean, everybody averages around 10,000 generally. I average over 35,000 miles a year when I was doing this regularly for 20 years. That was my average over 20 years, 35 to 40,000 miles a year. I couldn't keep a set of tires on my car more than a year and a half. Just couldn't afford them. I would get the 60 or 70 or 80,000 mile tires, but you got to have grip. So I would shy away from the 80,000 mile tires because they're very stiff and they're very hard and they don't grip great. And they have speed limits on them, on those tires. If you go over 75, I think, or 80, they peel much quicker. I almost never went over 80 unless I was following somebody. But over 70, I would go over 70 pretty regularly on my own. So, oil change every month, right? So, I mean, I was spending money. Gasoline every day. Literally every day I was buying gasoline, except whatever the one day a week I had off, because it wouldn't pay you for 7. So, I made good money, but it cost me money. I couldn't possibly do that if they stick a mileage tax on me, unless there's a way to write that tax off completely. But that's still charging me extra money for the year. Because I think you have to pay that every month. It's like on your credit card bill. You just have to pay it every month. You tell them, oh yeah, I drove this far. And then at the end of the year, when you tell them exactly how far you drove, because you wrote it down, they go, well, yeah, but you told us then that you only drove this far. Well, I did only drive that far in that month. They don't believe you. They think you're lying because they're liars. So I will actually put that on my, because it's on my personal Facebook page, but I'll put it on the Facebook page for this channel, which is the Free Exchange of Ideas Facebook. On Facebook, I'm sorry. That's my really irk today. It's going to hold on to me for a few days because this really pisses me off that they're even considering this on top of the outrageous gas taxes we're paying and the fucking mileage taxes they want us to pay. Because I don't have any idea what the hell that's going to be. I'm sure it's not going to be a nickel, even a nickel a mile. Let me do the math really fast. I'll say I average 25,000 miles a year now because I drive 50 miles a day just for work. That's for my regular job. So let's do 0.05 times, what did I say, 25,000? 25, 1, 2, 3. There you go. 0.05 times 25,000 equals, that's a year, $1,250 a year in tax for no good reason. We already spend a stupid amount of money on gasoline tax. $1.12 a gallon for gasoline tax. If they took that, if they just cut it in half, so it'd be like closer to what everybody else is, or I'm sorry, it'd be closer to the next highest rate. It'd still be 56.5 cents a gallon. That would lower our actual price per gallon to $3.50. Average. It would lower the average price, and that's for regular gasoline. I don't look at anything else because I don't buy anything else. But that would lower our gas tax to about, I mean, our gasoline price to about $3.50 a gallon ish. And because I'm not just taking off the 50 cents, you can lower the gasoline itself price at the same time. And that's about average for the nation. Somewhere between 325 and 375, average for the nation. California right now, for regular gasoline, the least expensive I've ever heard, and that was from my buddy Bob, who's coming over the hill from Santa Cruz, was $4.99. But it's lower than that now, but I don't know what his gas station is doing now. But pardon me. But I average about, I think it's it's under 450 right now, which is stupid expensive. And I have to fill up twice a week. And that's if I don't work the weekend as a PI. I still fill up twice a week. Can you see the steam yet? Because I'm really pissed off about this. Pissed off that it's even an idea in some legislator's mind. Irks the living crap out of me. Yeah, I'll tell you how I really feel about it. Okay. Even fluffy bunnies have teeth and claws for a reason. Live long, fight hard, win the fucking day.